Sir, today mental health is a very big issue, uh, not to any particular profession, but everywhere it's there. Uh, but we cover many times, so we'd like to get your view on those aspects also. So, but first, my first question to you: you have treated almost 45,000 patients. Please tell us about your journey of understanding and treating the minds.
Right. Yes, it's a actually long journey in psychiatry, 32 years of my private practice and plus academic years. Now I am functioning as director of Manav Neuropsychiatric Hospitals Private Limited, and I'm life fellow of American Psychiatric Association and fellow of IPS, Indian Psychiatric Society. We have actually advanced, we have worked in this hospital as an institute. We have advanced facilities um, for indoor as well as outdoor patients. And we actually treat right from ADHD, autism in children to depression, suicidal cases, schizophrenic, psychotic, suspicious patients to aggressive, aggressions, manic, up to dementias. We have actually participated in many international global research studies on all these subjects. I've done studies on international global studies on schizophrenia to dementia. So now the story actually of my practice in psychiatry is started actually with a lot of stigma and non-scientific biases and myths about psychiatry and brain functions. So I would like to just enlighten on psychiatry very comparatively, I can definitely now propose our brain as a biological computer, because we talk about mind and then we think that it is imagination, it is just are man se nikal do boss. It's very simple. Or otherwise what I am thinking, if I am depressed, you say somebody of your relative will say why you are taking tension. So where to take tension and where to take out tension, how to take out it is not like taking out pain. So I will compare these of our brain. It's a brain's function, brain's emotional function, brain's thinking function, brain's ability to do a lot of work and all progress. So when there is some problem, this is a psychiatric problem. The problem which disturbs self or others is a psychiatric problem in short. So how I'll compare now our normal brain, which normal computer, it works on zero mathematical language 0011, but our brain is a biological computer and it works on certain neurochemical language. So usually when we say अरे ये psychiatric problem मुझे तो नहीं आ सकता है हम it's not possible, but basically there is certain genetic loadings which may be not seen in so many. पीढ़ी के अंदर नहीं दिखेंगे, हमारे माँ बाप में नहीं दिखेंगे, उनके इसमें नहीं दिखेंगे, but there are chances of certain genetic loading which has got propensity to dysregulate this dopamine and serotonin. I told you, this which is the base of this human psychological computer, and stress. So this usually what problem we face in our society, in our daily living, we call it as it is just only because of stress, but no, stress and some genetic loading, when it interacts, there is outcome is something, some disturbance in mental function. I would like to quote here a small this thing, Dr. J. Krishnamurti. When we talk about stress, so J. Krishnamurti says this stress lives in our belief system, because belief, our experience is filtered through this belief, and this belief usually gives us gratification, and our brain seeks, or we seek gratification, and we never seek reality. So this belief gives us gratification. So all this system of stress lives in our belief system, and then certain stress factors, when they interact, there is some psychological problem. Usually when we say that this factor can be tackled just by patting on the back, yes, it is always possible, But example of depression, we feel depressed might be because of certain wrong happenings, some stress factors like financial problems, familial problems and all. And this effect of the depression, like not feel like working, not feel like doing something, all these symptoms can get alleviated within with just a talk or something. But all such type of symptoms remains for more than 15 days. That means there is some problem in the mechanism. And as a psychiatrist, we treat those mechanisms. So mental mechanisms are there which work like I told you, like a computer, and there are certain neurochemical locha we can say, which can be corrected taking in account of all the history and experiences. And some few problems can be tackled just with talk, that is counseling. But most of the time now it is so faster that we want that patient, that client, to get resumed in his work at earliest possible. And there are so many good medicines which can be used. There are so many good treatments nowadays, like RTMS, repeated transcranial magnetic stimulation, and all. Good treatments like brief pulse, ultra brief pulse, computerized brief pulse ECTs for aggressive patients, for depressive, suicidal thoughts, etc. So this is my journey.
Oh, that's great. Now, my next question, Dr. Jadhav, because we represent shipping. So, sailors are also your patient, you said me earlier, but their professional life is different. So, have you found any difference between them and others? If yes, how differently you treat them?
Right. Now, these sailors usually, these sailors, uh, I have lot many clients whom they are selling on board. They are keeping themselves away from home for a lot of time and all. So my experience through so many patients must be more than in hundreds you can say over the period. But what is the difference in sailor and my other clients? What I feel is one first and very important thing is sensory deprivation. Once you start sailing on board,
Hmm,
you are away from all those normal sensations which are there in your family, in your environment.
hmm,
I'm talking about emotional sensations,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
So this emotional deprivation is more, you are away from your family. You cannot tackle your day-to-day life stresses or some thoughts. You cannot share with your friends so commonly. At the most, you can share on the WhatsApp. But WhatsApp and social media and all, again, all those has certain side effects. They cannot pick up your emotions very perfectly at that time, at that moment, and they cannot get intervened in an emotional manner. So it's a flat sort of thing. Another thing is it's a closed environment. Usually on the ship, though I have sailed for my picnic and all, but otherwise, what I could see is impact of those closed cabins, those
hmm,
closed passages, those
hmm,
narrow passages,
hmm,
narrow sort of thing. So
hmm,
this is one of the factor which may gives claustrophobic sort of thing. In this is claustrophobia is anxiety, phobia. Phobia is irrational fear. Actually, that fear is there, but it is irrational, and they may feel phobic in that environment, claustrophobia,
hmm,
closed spaces. Simultaneously, when they must be coming on the deck, it's a agoraphobia. It's a huge sea and huge environment which is open, where there is no limit, and this that we call as agoraphobia. So many patients, so many clients, so many I mean sailors must be facing this off and on very persistently and commonly, but they may not be knowing what exactly that fear is of. So that is one of the precipitating factor, I would like to say. Another thing is sleep wake cycle problems. Most of my clients who are selling, they have got anxiety, they have got this problem about sleep
hmm,
and mood. So mood disturbance is one of the factor, because we nowadays this environment also has got tremendous effect on your mood, right? So this sleep, once the sleep wake cycle is broken, like it is not what it is, it's not adjusted, there are precipitation of certain mood symptoms. Another thing is, there is a, this is a like taking admission into selling sort of job is like, it's sort of trap. Trap means I'm entering into a environment from where immediately on second day I will not be able to leave this place. I cannot leave this place for so many months or whatever it may be. This is a notional thing. They know they are ready for this. It's a workplace, but notionally they feel I am trapped. I cannot take my decision to quit tomorrow if I that situation comes like that. So this is one more difficulty, and usually when they start depression, anybody who is depressed, actually, I mean clinically depressed, once they get the feeling of trapped, to escape from this environment, there is no way out. To escape from these problems, there is no way out. Then usually we see certain clients getting suicidal ideations. So skipping from this life is the only way out. So we have seen suicidal ideations in few of the sailors. Those who have previous personality of bipolarity, like bipolar personality. One more thing, what I feel regarding sailors is definitely sailors compared to other jobs. It's a limited, skills. Limited in the sense it's a great skill, but once you are in this field and you are facing so many hazards and you are getting good payments, you may absorb your problems so that you don't want to get away with such a nice payment, but environment is troubling you. So in these such cases, lot of adaptation sort of counseling programs are needed. They should be they should happen very recurrently, so that the socialization, by the way of socialization, these precipitating suicidal thoughts, precipitating mood disturbances, precipitating anxiety factors will be tackled. And so many, I think this attrition in first few months is more. That's what my experience is, because till they get adapted to the environment and till they are become happy, it takes a bit of a time. And before that, all these pre-morbid mental conditions may disturb them. So sort of sailor's life is a elegant sort of life you can have on board. So certain parties, sort of ball dances, certain social programs will definite, and proper counseling touches will be able to eliminate these preceding factors. That's why I feel from the sailor's point of view, from practice.
And how do you treat them differently? Ask you.
Treating them is usually number one. We find out, we come across with the diagnosis first. We come across with the genetic factors. We come across with precipitating factors. Those precipitating factors and that acute chemical locha we treat with medicines. Some patients, like severely aggressive patients and all, we can admit, we can treat them with ECTs. They come out of that acute problem within 15 days. That is for sure. Once they come out, we counsel them and we make them strong. That what is the weakness? What was the weakness which has precipitated this mental illness? We make it strong, so it should not come again. But usually, though since there is a involvement of a genetic component is there, genetic loading is there, we have to treat the patient for 6 months and then maintain that goodness of that coming out of that treated sort of performance form for more than 1 year to up to 4 years also. so that the genetic expression of that gene which is creating problem, precipitating things, gets learned or gets unlearned.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And what's the recovery percentage that they could join the ship again?
See, this through as I told you, recovery is the rule, but
Hmm.
cure is not the rule in mental illnesses. But
Okay.
recovery up to the extent that he is totally fit to sail again is
True.
very important and at earliest.
Correct.
Because once he is away from the job,
Hmm.
then it will again keep on getting additional burden of financial burdens and future burdens, EMI burdens, etc.
Correct.
But if it is taken in right time,
Hmm. Hmm.
accounted
Hmm.
disease diagnosis is accounted in time and
Hmm.
treated in time,
Hmm.
actually within 15 days, within few weeks, basic
Hmm.
symptoms goes off and he can go to his work again.
Because the wounds are visible, so one can understand. But in mental health, a person himself, no, sometimes he does not understand what's happening with him.
Exactly. Basically, we call it as insight.
Yeah.
In case of anxiety, people have got insight that they have got something wrong.
Hmm.
So when there is a threat,
Hmm.
okay, brain works in two ways: either fight with the threat or fly from the threat. Okay,
Correct.
so this depends on his capacity to whether to face it or not to face it. But because of premature problem, other mental illnesses can cause, can make these problems complicated, like depression or.
Correct. Correct. So
And
early
secondly, insight. One more thing I would like to add: most of the psychotic patients, they don't have got insight into their problems, so they feel there is nothing wrong with me. What is
Hmm.
happening is for others. If patient is suspicious, if
Hmm.
there is wrong with my wife, wife
Hmm.
can say there is wrong with my husband. He has got some affair outside, or
Hmm.
he has got some problems outside, or they are against me. They are trying to harm me, kill me.
Hmm.
Neighbors
Hmm.
are trying to. So there is,
Hmm.
and when they hallucinate, they
Hmm.
hear the voices, they
Hmm.
hear the voices without that sensory cause. So there is no source, but they hear voices. This is hallucination. So in that
Hmm.
case, they feel that actually I'm hearing, and for
Hmm.
them it's a fact, and for us others, we know that this is not. So
Okay.
few of the patients are to be, they have to be brought to the doctor,
Okay.
because relatives know this is wrong, patient doesn't know this is wrong,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
certain cases like depressions and all anxieties, patient on their own they can come to the doctor and get the treatment done.
Okay. Now my last question to you, doctor. You are a rare combination of astrology and medical doctor. Do you find any link between two while treating the minds? It's a very rare that you understand astrology very well. So how it helps you to treat the patient and
Right. When I was doing my some original paper on epilepsy,
hmm.
I came across with some studies of
Hmm.
dermatoglyphics, that is
Hmm.
Hastaresha
Hmm.
and epilepsy.
Hmm.
Epilepsy means जो मिर्गी आती है.
Hmm.
So there is connection. When there is a connection between dermatoglyphics, your
Hmm.
Hastaresha,
Hmm.
and epilepsy, there has to
Hmm.
be so many connections,
Hmm.
through
Hmm.
in the environment, which,
Hmm.
because our brain is a basic satellite sort of function,
Hmm.
getting connected
Hmm.
emotionally as well as environmentally
Hmm.
to the nature.
Hmm.
So there is sun and these movements of planets and all. So
Hmm.
basically it's a circadian rhythm,
Hmm.
and brain has got spatial centers to tackle this circadian rhythm, to maintain that circadian rhythm. That's why we sleep at certain time and we wake up at certain time.
Hmm.
One, nobody wakes you up. So this circadian rhythm is a very essential part of the function of the brain, and that's why whatever cyclical, like day and night, 15 days moon, no moon, okay,
Hmm.
and what we feel, that some mental illnesses occurring on no moon day, अमावस्या में जो होता है, that means ये कुछ बाहर का है. अरे there is nothing बाहर का. ये basically we should stick to our own सूर्यमाला. उसके बाहर तो there are so many things we don't know. But in this Suryamala, we are part of this Suryamala, we are part of this circadian rhythm, we are part of this system. And when brain has got that capacity, there is difference in that circadian rhythm, there are chances of mood disorder. So the you know the more the day is longer, fresher is the person. The day keeps on going smaller, there are high chances of depression coming up. In monsoon season, there is no sun. Sun doesn't, the Surya Bhagavan darshan ही नहीं देते. That time, there are chances of this depression coming up are very high, and we also thought melancholically in that day. So it is always tagged. And those who are having bipolar mood disorders, like bipolar mood disorder is certain time they are having excited mood, and certain time they have got low mood. So it is a bipolar. One pole is higher up, and one pole is lower down. Okay, this is again also cyclical. And such type of patients who are kept under treatment, our treatment, who are on mood stabilizers, may get precipitated because of this change in this circadian rhythm. So all this is definitely connected. We have got very little knowledge about it, and the more we explore, like Chandrayaan 3 गया, तो उसके बाद में भी there are so many things which we can, planet and uska behavior, and Earth uska behavior, and those who are dwelling, we are from the Earth, so Earthians we can call. पृथ्वी के जो मानव और ये they how they are connected with other planets will come to know in future. But definitely there is connection. Only depends on prediction. So if I am a doctor, I am a well-trained doctor, I am MD in psychiatry. After my MBBS, I have done my MD in psychiatry. So my predictions are good. But if someone is unable to predict the disease or diagnose the thing, may find difficulty. So that doesn't mean that medical science is wrong. So in this prediction also, the predictor should be a nicely studied person who has got very good knowledge about all the factors, can give good predictions. That's what I feel. I can compare my science psychiatry with this field.
Anything else you'd like to add in this aspect, Doctor?
Regarding
the astrological part, that how, if you go to some astrologer, they can predict your mental status. So,
right. Basically, देखो, we call it Chandra, moon, मन का कारक है. Because Chandra, Kala, uski, and our bipolar mood disorder, it is like it is closely linked. Okay, but predictor, जिनके 7th space में Neptune है, they can predict the things very well. That's what I feel. So it is उनका जो acumen है, वो scientifically built जैसे डॉक्टर में होता है, वैसा उनमें होता है. तो it will be that prediction will go definitely on right side, right way. So usually one more thing I will like to add is seasonal affective disorder, SAD we call. So in Western countries where there is a longer nights, there is a sort of we give light therapy and all. So depression is more evident in them. So again, this predictability about these cycles and mood changes can be taken in account both ways.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sundeep, for sharing your knowledge. I'm sure that our seafarer will benefit with it. And thank you so much for sparing your time, Dr. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.